Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a long time since I made a video. A lot going on, obviously, but sometimes I have a lot to say, but it's just one of those things where you just gotta let things play out, man. You gotta let. I'm not a fan of, people that when something comes out, they have to make a video, they have to say something within seconds, right? And then and a couple hours go by, a day go by, and they have to say something else because whatever they said was proven wrong because they just didn't have all the facts and they didn't have all the information. And then a week go by, they make another video, and it's just I don't know. I just want to observe and see what's going on and try to get a full picture, right? And so I wrote a couple things down, and I'm probably going to talk about a lot more than what I have written down. First of all, the first thing I'm going to talk about is artificial intelligence. The best way I can describe artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence is going to do to white collar jobs what outsourcing blue collar jobs did to normal working people, working men who worked in factories. What did it do, right? By outsourcing all of our manufacturing to China and to India and to Vietnam and all these other countries, what did it do? Well, it destroyed our blue collar jobs. It eliminated them. It got rid of 50, 60, 70, 80, maybe more percent of those jobs. And it forced those people into new industries. And it wasn't something that had to happen. It was something that did happen, right? Because it was just companies found a loophole and they were like, oh, look, we don't have to innovate no more. Instead of spending money on research and development, R&D, we can just, we can just ship our manufacturing to China and have them pay their local workers 50 cents an hour. They'll work all day because that's the best thing they're going to be able to do, essentially slave labor. And then we'll just put it on a ship and ship it 5, 6, 7, 8,000 miles across the ocean, and it'll still be cheaper. But guess what? We don't have to spend any money on research and development to innovate. And so that's why America hasn't innovated in many aspects. We've innovated in regards to technology when it comes to applications, internet. But I mean, what else have we innovated? Nothing. It's been pretty stagnant, right? Which is crazy because America, when it sets its mind to it, innovates better than any other country. We are the innovation capital of the country, but because we've been stagnant, I would say most of the world has been stagnant. Maybe not all, because Japan is an amazing case study of a country that continue to innovate. And look, you just look at their country and it's crazy. It seems like they're so far ahead of everybody else. So, and then China, right? A lot of people talk about China. Well, guess what? It's because they didn't outsource, and in order to keep producing things cheaper so they can sell in the world, they have to innovate. They come with more efficient processes, more efficient machinery, just everything, right? While all maintaining slave labor. And so, I hope for the citizens of China that they can kind of, create some form of balance where maybe they can pay their people a little bit more while innovating. And so ultimately, white collar jobs, they're not going to disappear. They're just going to have like an 80% crash. And I've been telling people for quite a while what I think is going to happen to the white collar job, which is essentially saying women jobs, is most women are going to find themselves unemployed or underemployed or both. It's going to happen. Why would I have an HR department when I can have a chatbot, Claude, Gemini, or Grok, or any other one that can create an HR department? It can create policies. It can create everything that I need. It can create the website. It can do all of it, and all I need is just somebody to administer it. You understand? One job. And that's what's going to happen. All these jobs that currently exist in the corporate environment that are, I don't want to say useless, but it is a valid word to use. Well, the way I would say it is they are throwaway jobs. They are jobs that if a company got rid of today, it would have no impact on the business. Zero. If anything, it would have a positive impact. People would get out. Safety, right? Safety is such a trash job. What do? They go around and they harass people. Now, granted, do I think people should work safe? Of course. Of course. And the reason they should work safe is because, you only get one body. Your health is the most important thing. It's not money. But safety stands in the way of getting shit done. It's just the way it is. HR, they stand in the way. They create processes on top of processes on top of process. They create stupid, useless trainings, endless trainings, so they can justify their job. Something that can be covered in 1 to 2 minutes turns into a 1 to 2 hour spectacle. And it's just a constant thing, right? You have to have these meetings, these talks, these discussions, these one-on-ones, and for what? Why do I need to write my own review of my performance? Guys, y'all know what the hell I've been doing. Right? Like, why do I tell you, do I think I've been doing a good job? MF, you know if I've been doing a good job. Because you're the ones that give me the work. And if you're giving me more work constantly and I keep getting it done, I'm doing a good job. Why are we wasting each other's time? It's because, one more time, it's a stupid process that HR came up with. They didn't want to do the job, right? They didn't want to do the job, so they offloaded it on us, and now their job is to review what we say about ourselves and be like, correct, incorrect, well, we agree, we disagree, here's why, and then they can create another process on top of that, and it's a throwaway job. And so AI is essentially gonna wipe out the vast majority of white collar jobs, and that's gonna impact mostly women, because women work in offices, women work in those corporate environments, and I'm sorry to say, but most women are gonna be out of work. Now, there's good things and bad things that come with it. One, two-income households are going to become one, so that's a bad thing. The good thing is, because that's going to happen, women are going to have to humble themselves again. Women are going to have to humble themselves. They're going to have to get to realistic standards when it comes to men. Women are going to be forced to look at their marriage and be like, do I really want a divorce? Well, I don't. And even if I really kind of did, because I don't like this MFR, I can't, because I can't get a job. Nobody wants to hire me. And that's a good thing. I say it as though it's only bad for the woman, but there's a lot of men that want to get out of their marriage as well. I would say a lot of men want to get out of their marriage, but they don't. They stay in the marriage because of the kids. Because they understand that what's best for the kids is what's best for society. It's what's best for everybody. And so so you stay in the marriage, you work it out, and you punch through it. You just get through it. And so this option to quit is no longer going to exist. And so I think you're going to see a rise of marriages. You're going to see a decrease of divorce. You're going to see an increase of babies being made. I think you're going to see the reduction of crime. It's going to have an overall positive impact on society by doing one thing. You might even see a reduction of like pornography and all these OnlyFans women, because as they become honest women again, where they're able to focus on just being a mom and a homemaker, I think they're going to be happy, and they're not going to no longer need that stress relief of attention from endless amount of men. And so that's my opinion on that, right? AI is going to kill most of the white collar jobs, which means it's going to kill most of the female jobs. females are going to go back to the home where they're going to be happier than they are in the workforce. And that's another thing, right? Say a lot of these things, everybody's like, oh, that's bad for women. No, that's actually a good thing, because women are more unhappy in the workforce than they would have been in a marriage that they're not happy in. No woman I know is excited to be at work. Very few of them are. It's because those women really got lucky with a really, really cozy, easy job. But all the rest, they hate it. They hate their job. Most men don't like their job, but we do it. We do it because it's our responsibility to take care of our kids, take care of our wife, take care of our family. It's on us. So we have a higher tolerance to deal with things like that without, feeling depressed. Or even if we feel depressed, we have more of a suck it up, get through it attitude. Women don't. Which is why the vast majority of people who are on antidepressants, SSRIs, etc., are women. The vast majority of people that go see a therapist are women. I mean, it's not even comparable, guys. And so it's a good thing for women. Initially, they're not gonna like it. They're gonna push back. It is what it is. But it's gonna benefit society because it's what's best for the kids. And I don't know. I look at this AI thing, and can it become a bad thing? Yeah, it can be. But AI is only able to do what it's trained to do, what the programmers have programmed it to do. So if AI ever turns bad, it's because that was how it was supposed to be by design. AI is not smart. AI is nothing more than a Google search. It's just a more complicated Google search, a more intense Google search. It's more of a where it's able to take vast amount of information and give it to you in a human aspect, right? It's able to explain it to you, it's able to paraphrase it to you without you having to go through 20 different links. Because in the past, right, you search something, there's 3,000 Google search pages, and you have to go one by one and one and one and one, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, bro. And now AI just gives it to you. It gives you the information, and it says, this is where I found my information. Feel free to fact check me, right? And it just gives it to you. And so when you understand that AI is not capable of anything. It's not capable of creativity. It's not capable of thought. It's not capable of doing anything outside of the parameters that it was programmed to do. AI computers are not creative. So when it creates a video, it creates a picture, it creates anything, all it's doing is it's looking out there, it's doing a search of all the videos or all the pictures that use that specific keyword that you want, that you place into the prompt, and then it's saying, oh, I'll make a picture like this. That's all it's doing. It's just copy and pasting an accumulation of all the pictures that are out there in that spectrum. That's all it's doing, guys. It's not this smart brain. It's like, I don't know what the hell people are thinking. I watch too many movies, bro. Now, can we make computers where eventually they're able to think for themselves? Possibly. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to the fact who programmed, who created the rules for that general intelligence, right? Or super intelligence. Humans. We did. Who gave it the parameters? Who gave it the reasoning? All of that has to be programmed within the super intelligence that people are afraid of. And so if humans, we create something like that and we program that and that's what it turns out to be, well, guess what? That's what we wanted it to be. And when I say we, I'm talking about us as a whole. Never forget that politics is always downstream from culture. And right now we have a culture that looks to the government for everything. They want government to solve all their problems. They want government to to be daddy, mommy, God. And when you live in a society like that, then yeah, there is a chance that because that's what people want, then an AI might be created to be mommy, daddy, God. And so don't be surprised if an AI becomes God, because that's what you wanted. Instead of looking to yourself for answers, for solutions, instead of looking to your wife, instead of looking to your family, your neighbors, your friends for solutions and help, you look to the government. Mr. and Mrs. Government, how are you going to help me? I need to eat. I'm hungry. Can I get some Section 8? Can I get some food stamps? Can I get some WIC? You know, like, it's just, if your solution is always government, well, then government is your God. And don't be surprised when government has a super intelligence that acts on its behalf, and it becomes your God. And then as your God, it starts making decisions it deems that are best for you, right? So all it's going to do is just take the place of the people you already elected, but just make decisions faster. The second thing I want to talk about is Nick Fuentes. Nickety Fuentes, right? First of all, I'm a fan of Nick Fuentes. I am. I think the guy speaks a lot of truth. There's a lot of things he says that I don't agree with, but it's the same thing like when I listen to Louis Farrakhan or Elijah Muhammad or to Riza Islam. Like, it's the same exact thing. When I listen to those guys, I fully respect what they're saying, because I agree with a lot of what they say, but I just don't agree with everything. And you don't have to agree with people to like them. You just don't. But if what they're saying is being said out of what they've learned, what they've studied, and they have conviction, and they're not just saying it just to say it, you have to respect that, because their path to learning has led them to a different conclusion than I have reached through my path of study, right? And so what they're saying is valid, and we all should respect and listen to them. But at the same time, if we disagree, we can push back with the knowledge that we've been able to accumulate, and that's how you get consensus, right? So here it is with Nick Fuentes. There's always been something with me that's rubbed me the wrong way in regards to Nick Fuentes. I'm like, who is this guy? This guy makes no sense. He makes no sense in regards to certain things, right? And I think I brought it. I know I brought this up several videos ago, and it's just one more time, just paying attention to the guy. And I am convinced that Nick Fuentes is a Democrat plan. I am convinced he is a Democrat plan. I am convinced he is a Democrat. And I'm going to go further. I don't even think he's just a Democrat. I think he's a New World Order plant. Right? Because you have Democrats. You have Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard, Robert F. K. Jr., and all these moderate Democrats. And then you have the crazies like the Mandamis, the AOCs, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Chuck Schumers. None of those are Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is the New World Order Democrat. He's the European Democrat. Excuse me. He's the one that wants to help usher in the new system. That's that Democrat, right? And this idea that there's just one type of Democrat, there's not. It's the same way. There's not just one type of Republican. There's all types of Republicans. But Nick Fuentes is a plant. And the crazy thing is, he's very likable. He's very articulate. He's extremely smart. But the guy is not anything. He is not a Republican at all. He's not a conservative. He's not an independent. He's nothing in regards to anything that's right-leaning. The guy is left. He's just a different branch of left. And I think that's what kind of confused me, because you're trying to just listen to him talk, and a lot of things he says are correct and accurate, but then he throws in something that you're just like, what the hell? And it just, you just pay attention and pay attention and pay attention. And yeah, I'll tell you what, man, very well played though, very well played by these globalists. They are so freaking smart, guys. You all, people do not give these globalists enough credit as to how amazingly smart and strategic these people are. They are the smartest of the smart, the brightest of the bright. Like, it's crazy how smart these people are, because they're not just thinking about right now or the next move. These guys are 5, 10, 20 steps. These are master chess players, bro. These are master chess players. They are amazing. And so I want to give him credit. He was able to hide it for such a long time, but I don't think he's able to hide it no more. I think it's starting to leak through. And the crazy thing is, he's gonna have a fan base like Destiny and Hassan Piker. It's just not gonna be the fan base that he has right now. It's gonna drastically reduce, but it's gonna be propped up. And the people that follow him are gonna be hardcore leftists. People that voted for Mandami, leftists. That's just the way it is, guys. Believe me, you don't have to believe me. Just stand by and watch. And this is another thing I just wanted to wait and see, bro. Like the whole AI thing, the whole Nick Fuentes thing, and even with the whole Trump thing that's going on right now, right? Where a lot of people on the right and the left, and when I say on the right and the left, I'm talking about freaking podcasters, YouTubers, you know what I mean? And so I'm not talking about normal people, because when I talk to normal people who used to be anti-Trump, but now they're pro-Trump, they are stronger than ever on the Trump train, bro. The normies are stronger than ever on the Trump train. The only ones that are very rocky and really shaky are the YouTubers. And that's so insane and crazy, because one more time, if you are 20 steps ahead and you are trying to mold and create narrative and to get people to fall in line into this new way of thinking, well, you would start now in preparation for 2028, 2026, right? To start getting people off the MAGA train. The problem is I speak to way too many people, and so many people, bro, that were anti-Trump, that hated Trump, or that have converted, which is almost everybody I know. That's just the truth. 2016, everybody thought I was crazy. 17, 18, 19, 20. It wasn't there. 2024, bro. It changed, it flipped, something happened. I can't tell you what happened. Maybe it was the Biden administration, maybe it was COVID, maybe it was a lot of things. Maybe people just finally woke up and snapped out of their state of hypnosis since COVID, because COVID woke a lot of people up. And it's one of those things where possibly the Great Awakening is happening, and the people that were put on YouTube and allowed to grow and become super big on YouTube, which, one more time, if any of you guys think that that's organic, if you think people on YouTube that just grew to this massive platform happened organically, you have not been paying attention to the entire history of power. Everybody that's big on YouTube was allowed to become big on YouTube. They were selected to become big on YouTube. And it's just the way it is. There's a lot of really smart and creative and just intelligent people that are on YouTube that are talking, that will never reach the heights of what they're capable of. And they're more articulate, they're smarter, they're more well read, they're more performative, they're everything. But they'll never reach the heights. You know why? Because they weren't selected. Because these are people that are willing to play by the rules that were created by the powers that be. And so when you see people flipping back and forth, it's because they don't really have a frame of reference. They don't really have a true thought that belongs to them. They're malleable. They're able to be manipulated, and they're able to have their mind changed easily because they're not cemented in their thought. And that's how you get to be at the highest of highs on social media and in mainstream media. That's just the way it is. You don't get there by being concrete. You get there by showing that, hey, I can be bought. And it's just the truth. You don't have to like it. You can look around and be like, oh, well, what about him and what about her? Like they're they're like for show, man. They're legit. Yeah, sure, buddy. Sure. Keep thinking what you want, bro. But everybody on social media that's huge, they were allowed to be big on social media. They were handpicked. They were handpicked for a reason. And all you have to do is look around and look for the reason. And you'll find it and be like, it makes sense why they allowed this person. Right? So, Trump. You know, man, just this actually touches base to what I was just talking about. You know, a lot of talk from left and right wing podcasters, YouTubers, mainstream media, that MAGA was dead. Man, dude, MAGA is trucking hard. They're trucking hard, bro. Indiana, they had 7 rhinos. And if you know anything, you know that rhinos are not MAGA. They're not even Republican. They're Democrat lights. All taken out by MAGA representation. All voted out in favor for MAGA. And this is another thing that just popped up, bro. And it's just, I'm glad that I waited to talk. You know, earlier in the year and even late last year, we had special elections. And we lost. You know, MAGA lost several of those elections. Republicans, lost those elections. And I was like, it makes no sense. Why would they allow that to happen? And I say allow because the way that those wins happened were very sketchy. And I reached the conclusion, guys. I reached the conclusion. Those elections were allowed to play out exactly the way they played out, with all the interference, with everything that happened, because they were being studied. They were being studied. The way the manipulation was happening, the way the forgery, everything about those elections was being studied head to toe in preparation for 2026 midterms. And what those elections allowed, even though we took a loss in a couple governorships and a couple seats, what it allowed us to look inside of the beast and see how they do it. Because it's not as easy as we think it is. It's not as easy as just print out some extra ballots, run them through the machines. It's not that easy, guys. That's how easy it is if I'm gonna cheat, right? Because I'm good at chess, but when I play people that are up there, that I get destroyed. You know why? Because those guys, I might be 5 moves ahead. Those guys are 20 moves ahead. And so when these people cheat, they are cheating on a level that you couldn't imagine and you couldn't even have thought about. And so those elections were allowed to run so they can be studied, and they were more than happy to take the loss so they can figure it out, so they can use it as a case study and be like, ooh, we see it. I feel good for the midterms. I do. I feel real good for the midterms. I think that they might maybe not have figured it all out, but I think they figured out enough to where there's going to be a really big Republican win. Maybe not a sweep, but a really big win where we have a super majority in both houses in the presidency. That's just what I think. And so that's my opinion on that. MAGA is alive and well, and it's stronger than it's ever been. I want to talk about Iran. You know, I keep hearing people on social media talking about how there's no plan. There's no plan. We're losing. And I'm baffled when I hear this, because I'm looking at, I guess, the same thing these people are looking at. And I'm like, wow. 6 weeks in, and essentially Iran has no military. The Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone, the Army's gone. What they have left is the IRGC, but those are just foot troops with guns. And those foot troops are just scattered everywhere, and they are terrorizing the citizens. That's the last play they have. And they have this where, we're gonna blockade the Strait of Hormuz, and then Trump's like, okay, we're gonna blockade your blockade, right? It's such an easy solution, but it's so funny because it's brilliant, right? And if America wanted to, we can pull out right now and declare a victory, because it's already been a victory. And so what is the purpose for us to be there still? And, I'm just sitting here looking at everything that's online, because I just want to try to figure out what is the greater purpose of keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed. Because it's not just about Iran. That's too simple. What is it really about? And the truth is, I don't have a 100% idea like where I can confidently say this is this. I have ideas, I have theories, and my theory is, there are things happening right now in Iran that we don't even know about. Israel's been really quiet. Saudi Arabia's been really quiet. UAE's been really quiet. And to a certain point, our military has been really quiet. Usually when things are quiet like this, big things are happening. And we just don't find out until much later. What if they're already in Iran? What if they're already in Iran and they're already doing whatever it is that they need to do? What if right now, while everybody's focused on the Strait of Hormuz and gas prices and all that, keep in mind one more time, if you want to do things hidden and in secrecy, you have everybody paying attention to this while you do it over here, right? It's the whole magician thing. Look to my right hand while the left hand does the trick. What if it's all being done already? What if everything that they're talking about possibly doing is already happening? What if it's all already in process? What if everything that we think is in play to happen is already happening? And if the goal is to crush the global order, what better way than to crush their financial system and their economy? Because who's hurting the most with this whole closure of Strait of Hormuz? Yeah, you have China, sure, whatever. But it's really the EU. The EU is the one that is getting crushed. And what have I said in the past? I've said in the past that the EU are our enemies, our true enemies. The United Nations, NATO, all of them, they are our enemies. And so by keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed, it doesn't just weaken China, it weakens the EU, and it weakens them so bad that it gives us power that we haven't had. It gives us the ability to flex, and it gives us that ability to do it under the disguise of, well, they closed the Strait of Hormuz. You understand? And then it gives them the opportunity to flex some power, but then they're so afraid to flex it because the equipment that they have is trash. Their ships are trash. Everything about their military is trash, because why did they need a military? They had us. And so this stalemate kills them. It destroys them. And when they tried, it's very embarrassing, because when their ship is sailing out to sea and then it breaks and then it gets towed back to their local port, it just goes to show how weak and feckless they are. And then it also gives us a reason, justification to tear it all apart. That is my theory. There's this Professor Zhang, and I brought him up in the past, where he talks a lot about, he talks about a lot of things, and I fully respect him, right? And what I like about him is he's set in his convictions. Like, he really believes what he says, and the truth is, I agree with him on many things, and there's certain things I'm like, I don't know, really interesting ideas. And if you have a chance, you should go listen to him, because he's very well read, and his ideas are really well put together, right? And I do think that when he sees things, he's looking at it through a day-to-day activity, and he doesn't take into consideration that if everybody's looking at your right hand, what are you doing with your left hand? And he's focused solely on the right hand. And I think he does a good job of where he brings up nuanced ideas that are fascinating to listen to, because some of them, I'm like, wow, that's a really clever, good idea, right? And I'm not saying I'm smarter than him, because I don't think I am. The guy's very well read. But I think a lot of people take what he says as gospel, because I think people are desperate to listen to somebody that sounds like an intellectual, looks like an intellectual, and has solid reasoning behind the way that they speak. But guys, he didn't go viral on social media out of coincidence. Nobody goes viral out of a coincidence, especially some Chinaman. Come on. You think that just miraculously happened? That was by design. The whole design was for him to go viral. The whole thing was for people to hear his message again and again and again and again. And his messaging is, America's gonna lose the war. My messaging is, how can we lose something we already won? It makes no sense. How can we lose something we already won? It's already over. It's done. Now it's just a matter of, what is the reason for staying? What is the reason for continuing this and slow rolling the victory? It's not like Iraq and Afghanistan, right? Uh, when we went, well, forgive me, it's exactly like Iraq and Afghanistan. When we went in to Iraq and Afghanistan, we won that war within months. Within months, maybe 6 months or so, we went in and destroyed it all. Toppled the capital, everything. But we never declared victory, because what did we do? We started nation building. And because we failed at nation building, and then we stayed for 20 years, and then we left under Joe Biden, catastrophically, it came off as a loss. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of similarity there. Where I think things are going to differentiate is, I don't believe we're staying there to nation build. The same way we didn't nation build Venezuela when we captured Maduro is the same way we're not going to nation build Iran. But there's a big difference there. And Iran, first of all, is in the opposite side of the road. Venezuela's right here. So it was a lot easier, right? But we also have more control of our hemisphere than we do over there. It's the truth. Our entire military is right here in this hemisphere, and it's just right there. We can get there within hours. And so, as I look at the whole Iran thing, the war is over. It's done. We've won. And now the question is, what are they doing behind the scenes while it's so quiet? Israel is so quiet right now, guys. They are so quiet right now. What have you heard coming out of Israel in regards to Iran? Nothing. That's how you know something big is happening. Something huge, something major is happening right now. You don't get quiet at a time where Israel wanted to go to war with Iran for the past 40, 50, 60 years, and then it just goes quiet all of a sudden because President Trump said, shh, behave. They have one of the best intelligence agencies in the world, if not the best. You think that they are doing nothing? Are you insane? You think the Mossad is doing nothing? You people are insane if you think that right now everything's at a standstill. Everybody's just standing around waiting. Nah, guys. Something big is happening. And I think, in my honest opinion, I think by summer, a lot of this is going to be wrapped up. I think, in my opinion, bro, I think a lot of things are going to be wrapped up by summer. And I think we're going to start getting a sense of normalcy. I think the economy is going to be chugging. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting times, man. Interesting times. I could be wrong, but I really do feel for summer, things are going to, if not wind down completely, it's going to be winded down. Right? And so, we'll see. Russia, Ukraine could be coming to an end. Could be coming to an end. We'll see. It's sad to know. It's sad to think that over 1 million Russians and Ukrainians have died in the war. It's really sad, man. It's really sad. And the truth is, we have nobody to blame but NATO. And that includes America, because we are part of NATO. And we push the boundaries. And we can point fingers at Putin all we want. But what I do know is, if Putin tried to install Russian bases and missiles in Tijuana, Mexico, in Laredo, Mexico, we would have invaded Mexico in a heartbeat. And so I don't clear President Putin off of anything. But at the same time, we have to take the blame that we deserve as NATO. And I say we because we are ultimately NATO. We did push them into a corner, and well, you saw what happened, right? And now over 1 million soldiers are dead. 1 million men, not women, men. Where are the women? Living their best life. And it's sad. All this talk about equality, right? The men are being drafted. The men are being, conscripted and forced to join a war they don't want to be part of. And what do the women get to do? With all their talk about equality, they want to be treated like men. No, they don't. They want all the privileges of women while having all the opportunities of men. And it's sad, because if we had true equality, they'd be grabbing up all the women as well as men and saying, go fight. But that's not what women want. That's not what feminists want. They want privileges that don't exist for men. And they already have it. They already have it, guys. And we see it in real world right now. We see it. And it's sad and it's disgusting. And I don't have daughters. And I wouldn't want, obviously, her to go fight a war. But if we ever want to reach this true level of equality, Ukraine and Russia should start grabbing women the same way they are grabbing men, forcing them to go serve their country and die on the battlefield. And until that happens, we don't have true equality. We have female privilege. We live in a matriarchy. Yeah, I think that kind of covers everything for now. I mean, we're living under historic times, man. Historic times. It's amazing to be alive. It's amazing to be witness to everything that's happening. Oh yeah, last thing. Our stock market's gonna crash. The S&P 500. It's been coming for a long time, but it's I don't know, guys. If you don't feel it, if you don't see it, it's coming. It's coming. Bitcoin looks like it's ready to roll over and go back down to 15,000. And all the small caps in crypto look like it's just waiting for the flip, where all that money from Bitcoin goes into the alternative coins. And it's gonna be interesting times, because that's where I'm at. My portfolio hit 144,000. I know, because I was on Coin Tracker. It got as low as 30,000, 25, 30,000, because I just held. Man, if I'm right, bro, I have the opportunity to walk away with really, really, really good money. Granted, it's gonna come with a lot of tax when I sell it all, but it's life-changing money, man. And so we'll see if I'm right, because it's a big gamble. It's like 55,000 that I invested in, and like I said, that turned into 144, so I was able to 3x it. But it went down, and it hit 40% of what I invested, but I didn't sell. I kept, and I bought a little bit more here, a little bit more there. And so if I'm right, man, I mean, it's going to be a wonderful opportunity, because all the alternative coins are at, not all of them, but most of them are at 95% corrections of where they were. And so it's just, my mouth is salivating, but at the same time, my heart is breaking, and it's gonna crack in half if I'm wrong, because I placed the biggest bet on it. I did. And either I was wrong and I'm gonna walk away with such a huge loss, or I'm right and I'm gonna walk away with a huge win. I hope I'm right. I think I'm right, guys. I really do. and we're gonna find out not too long. And that's another thing. I'm so sorry. If you want to kill the New World Order and you want to have your own version of the Great Reset, and this is something I want you to think about, and the Strait of Hormuz is inflicting such financial damage, and you want to take control and power away from the banks, the one way you can guarantee all of it is by having a financial crash. That means you have to burn that S&P down. You have to rock that thing as 70% down and cause the biggest liquidation in history. I'm not saying that's in play, but what I am saying is, if you really, really, really wanted to bring it all down, that's how you would do it. You would, because everybody's invested in that S&P, and there's so much leverage on from S&P into the European markets and into alternative markets and developing markets, bro. You wanna bring it all down, and you wanna bring people to their knees and systems to their knees, and you wanna remove their power. You crash that stock market, and we'll see if it happens. We'll see. I'm not invested in stocks. I took out my 401k about 3-4 years ago because I'm pretty sure it's there. We'll just see if I'm correct. I could be wrong. You know, when I say these things, I'm not saying them with such conviction where it's like, I'm right, everybody's wrong. No, I don't know. I'm just a person that's looking, and man, I think we are living under really good times, and I think we're gonna see the rebalancing of wealth and money. I think we are going to have a great reset, but it's not going to be the great reset that was planned for us by the powers that were. I think it's going to be a new great reset by the powers that are going to be in. And that includes President Trump. And we'll see if he can navigate us through that and get it done the way that benefits Americans, and the standard people, the normal people of the world. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. We really are living under historical times. Enjoy the show, because it's a fun one to pay attention to. And talk to people, talk to them about politics, talk to them about religion. I hate that our parents and the generation before us, or I hate the fact that they were always like, there's two things you never talk about, religion and politics. It just goes to show how much of cowards they were. That previous generation was full of cowards. No, there's two things you need to talk about: politics and religion. The difference is you need to be respectful when having those conversations. You need to listen, actively listen, not just listen to reply, but you have to listen and acknowledge, and then you respectfully give your reasons why you either agree, disagree, or slightly agree. And if you can do that, that's how you win. And so, thank you for your time. I appreciate all you guys. Peace.